loading snacks.
What's going on, everybody? The Student Council is back for another week of anime discussions. We are the Low Snacks Anime Chat Podcast. This is episode 32, if I'm correct. Does that sound right to you all? 32,
I hope
31?
so.
I thought it was 33.
Okay, early 30s. I'm pretty sure it's 32 or 31.
Somewhere.
Yeah, it's somewhere right there.
YouTube.
Yeah, correct us on that, please, Gabby.
Mm-hmm.
We
how are you all
somewhere.
doing today? Yeah.
I'm good. You know, I worked a double yesterday and didn't get much sleep, so I'm a little tired. But
Got you.
besides
Oh,
that,
never
I'm
mind.
all right.
We are on 32. I thought
Okay,
we were on
thought so.
33.
Okay. Gabby's
32.
Gabby's already looking for the next week.
I'm already ready.
All right, so y'all know what it is at this point. Let's get started. So let's open the docket up. Noah, what do we need to know about this week? Yes, Fisher.
All right, let's get started.
Yes.
First things first. Oh, I forgot about this. I have to get this screenshot for you as well. Animator Shigetsu Sota says that the One Piece sound director should be fired for poor work.
Really?
Who's on their high horse?
What specifically are you talking about?
This is an animator that works for One Piece, and he tweeted this out publicly that he thinks that the sound director for One Piece should be fired.
Is there a specific moment like that he's talking about, like in the show or something that they did?
Just the sound in general.
Okay.
Have we had different sound directors consistently, or has this been like similar guy the whole time?
As far as I know, I haven't checked the staff, but as far as I know, this has been the same sound director for a long time because it's been the same sound for a long time. But
guess what? He's doing just fine then.
How did y'all feel about that? Gabby, you feel he's doing just fine. I felt like that would be your sentiment. What about you, Lo?
I mean, I
want to
see
know
it.
exactly like I want him to point to exactly what he's talking about. You know,
Okay, so
that's what I want to know. What
because I don't
specifically is
see
he
a
talking about?
difference in anything.
there's no
That's-
difference. That's kind of what the issue is with
Oh,
that
Why
he's
is that
having.
an issue though?
So this is interesting, and y'all have heard me say this to y'all before. That
Mhm.
this is one of my not issues with One Piece, but things that like never really made it pop up to my personal top one is because it gives off just a bit more of a goofy vibe than the details that are portrayed. Like One Piece, when you get down to the nitty gritty, is really dark,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
got a lot of stuff going on. But if you're watching it, it portrays a really happy, giggly, bubbly, rainbows and sunshine vibe most of the time. So that being said, one of those effects to the vibe is the sound. And I personally, I don't know if he should be fired because I don't want to say somebody should be fired, but I heavily agree that something needs to change. Them stinky boot sounds when they walk, the fight sounds are just are I don't know, it's so goofy and it just doesn't give. Remember like when Deku was fighting Overhaul, just that dark silence of like I forget what the soundtrack was, but it was such a good soundtrack just during that moment. And like what else? Like when Sung Jin Woo fights, or like when there was another good example I had of somebody like a shonen character that fights that I was thinking of. But specifically stuff like when Garp was introduced, this Kizaru fight recently, like serious moments happen. Like there's this moment where from the last episode, I watched it myself, where Bonnie was being held by Sanji. And Gabby, you watched last week, right? And then Bonnie like wiggled out of his arms and ran because of, well, you'll see why. But basically, it was an emotional moment. And then all of a sudden, she starts running. And it's just fucking SpongeBob boots. And it's like, it's such an emotional moment. It's like, bruh, come on. So I definitely think the sound quality, as like the animation quality, got an upgrade. I think these are serious times, so I think the sound quality definitely could upgrade, especially in these like high.
Is it the quality or is it like the choices? Like switch up from the silly stuff like that.
Well,
Switch
he
it out
said sound director. He didn't say quality. So the director of the sound is deciding, you know what I mean, the sound effects and the soundtracks and all those different things.
Like I hear you, but I think at this point that's been so long a part of One Piece. Like I feel like it's just a part of his genetic makeup at this point.
I mean, sure, but a new sound director doesn't mean it's going to turn into something different completely. It just means they'll do what he's doing and then do something better as well. Because I was gonna say like overwhelmingly, this is kind of like the agreed opinion on the anime lately is that like, which I've kind of been saying for a long time. Like the vibe I feel like in certain moments is just it brings you in, and then it's like it's so goofy that it's like it lets you out of like that edgy moment, and that's just for me personally. But I feel like
Yeah.
the sound direction is a big part of that. And I've said before many times that a soundtrack can make and break an entire, you know, what I mean, moment or a series at from times. So I don't think it's like something that's like, oh, this is just horrible. But I've paid attention to it and spoken on it before. So it's interesting to see it be something that people are complaining about now. Because like every week for a long time, people have been saying, oh, the sound direction, not for a long time, but for the past like maybe since the break has been over and a little bit before. When episodes are dropping, people have been complaining about the sound, and then the animator came out and said that the sound director should be fired. So I don't know,
If it's
but that was
just
what was said.
if it's just been around this break and everything, one thing that I think people need to realize is that a lot of these sound effects, a lot of this One Piece is always goofy, but I feel like it's extra goofy now because not Wano. What am I talking about? Egghead Island is a goofy arc. It's got all this weird stuff. It's got all of these like over exaggerated things, over noises. I mean, it also we have Luffy with his Gear 5, and we know that has a bunch of goofiness in it. So the goofiness is almost kind of everything ramped up because of the Gear 5 powers. So maybe that makes people notice it more. But out of a lot of arcs, Egghead Island is goofier, at least in the beginning
For
going
sure.
in.
I just think like
So
oh, go ahead.
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean
No,
to
no,
cut
no.
you off.
Nah, that was
I
the
just
end of my
think
sentence.
like moments like that Kizaru fight, for example, that was you know what I mean, it's been last time he saw Kizaru, he was running for his life, screaming and crying. So
Yeah,
it's like now he's playing or play wrestling with him, like
yeah.
making light work of him. So it's like,
Gear
and not
five.
even in Gear 5 form yet. So it's like, you know what I mean? I feel like that moment should just have like a different level. Like I said, you've also upgraded the animation. Everything
Hmm.
can be upgraded, and you know what I mean. It doesn't have to be completely changed,
Right.
but they knew for a fact that if they kept the original animation, it's not going to keep up. And also their sound effects and stuff are just dated. It was really popular like early, because if you think Toei uses those sound effects across Sailor Moon, across
That they
Dragon
do.
Ball Z, the same exact sound effects. They probably
Yeah.
got a
I
file
can
and
get
they
more
just
behind
flipped through them.
the datedness of when you say it
You know
that
what I
way.
mean?
Like the
So
stuff is dated. Like
those were
I
created
get it.
for the
Yeah,
90s and
yeah.
80s even.
And we're still using.
So it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, we're still using them.
yeah. I get
So
that.
new anime edgy. Remember when that's the one I was thinking of, Himino. Remember in Chainsaw Man when Himino
Oh,
died? That
yeah.
subtle, just
Yeah.
that sound effect hits your core. You know what I mean? I feel like that's something they can add in. Just as you can still have the little squishy boots for Chopper and stuff like that. I just feel like
You know
they
what?
can.
Hearing it this, I'm with you on that. They can
That's what
update. They
everyone's
can
kind of
update
saying.
it. You know what I mean? They can update
Yeah.
stuff. I can get behind that. I don't
Yeah.
think dude needs
Especially
to
on
be
a fight
fired.
like Kizaru that has been all these
I
years.
would have liked a little more emotion
And now we can't, you
because
know
he
what I mean?
was
We
a
want to
big
get,
one.
because in the
Yeah.
manga, when you're reading this, it's like,
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like,
and now that you said my head is playing those intense musics and the thing I hear from my head was like, oh yeah, let's get this.
you know
It's
what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And we've updated
intense.
everything else in One Piece and
That's
animation, the
true.
whole 9 yards, everything else. We can put some money behind sound effect
Yeah.
budget and you know do
And it's funny
some.
because I saw like the GARP entrance on Instagram and TikTok AMVs before I watched the episode. And
Mhm.
so eventually I was like, yo, this just looks too crazy. And GARP's one of my favorite characters. So I was like, I gotta watch the fight. I still haven't watched any of Egghead except for the fights.
I've watched none of
Yeah.
it yet, so
And what's it called? I went and watched it and I was like, it's not as exciting. But that's because all the AMVs had
yeah,
songs and dope
yeah.
They
songs.
have those
And
really
I'm
good
like,
songs, and you're like, yes, let's do
yeah.
this.
So I'm like, even like the Kakashi Obito fight, like the subtle silence, there was
Mm.
literally
Oh
no
yeah.
sound effect. Like that meant something. I just
Mhm.
feel like
It was
they could
just
focus on those things instead
hands
of just
on feet.
goofy, happy 90s Pokemon ass sound effects. In my opinion, that's what I think.
They can
So
put some money
that's what
behind that. I don't think Homeboy
that's what
needs to be fired. Like He's been doing it.
I don't know,
He's
but
been doing it that way
sometimes
this whole time. I don't think he needs to be
that's what
fired.
I'm saying. Sometimes you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So it's like sometimes you need to bring in new talent to, you know what I mean,
Yeah, but I
shake
mean,
things up a bit.
he's been doing what works, what's been working for the show. So
So is the animator. They fired him and hired a new one. That's what
They
I'm saying.
did.
The animation director is a new. Why do you think the animation changed? The
I
animation
didn't think
director
they
is new.
fired him. I just thought they brought on a new guy.
I mean, I don't know if they moved him around, let him go, but he's not in that position anymore, and that only equates to fired. So it's not like he quit. They hired a new and they upgraded. They went with the times. That's what I'm saying. That's what you have to do. It's sad, and it's like, but this ain't a family. This is a business. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
you want to keep stuff up. Like he's really decorated. He's worked on One Piece for years. He's gonna be able to get another job. He's probably
Yeah.
ancient. He could retire anyways. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know, but I'm not saying fire. Maybe move him around. Toei's a big company.
yeah,
Who knows?
yeah.
But sometimes you got to bring in new talent.
Yeah.
I agree it's going to be working and people are going to watch it anyways, but
I mean, it's One
Wano
Piece.
and
It's One Piece. We're gonna watch anyway.
facts, but Wano and these upgrades are what have really brought One Piece to mainstream level. So
Yeah.
it's almost on the level of like, I don't watch One Piece, but I know who Luffy is. You know what I'm saying? It's not
Mhm.
quite there yet. Or I don't watch anime, but I know who Luffy
Yeah,
is.
as
But,
you're just saying, yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's almost to that Naruto Pikachu. It's almost there. So I feel
yeah.
like stuff like that.
2 years
Those
in a row,
upgrades
he's
are
been in
good.
the Thanksgiving Day parade. So
That's
you
true.
know,
There you go. There you
yeah,
go.
he reached some point of that status. What you're talking about? Yeah,
Yeah.
only certain people get that.
I mean that is like Toei just paid for a balloon, so that doesn't mean. But it's still like people are gonna see that and be like, "Oh, who's this big ass balloon?" You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
It's our
yeah,
captain.
it's definitely it's getting there.
It is.
It's getting there for sure. I think the episode count is the main thing. If it didn't have if it had better pacing, it 100% would already be there. But like now, maybe not before, but now it would be.
And
But
with this
the fact
with this
is,
with studio
like,
one coming on Netflix, we'll see if they
yeah, because
boost
I was
things up.
talking to my buddy about how like certain anime transcendent. You got your Death Notes and your Naruto's and your Seven Deadly Sins and your what My Heroes and it's kind of the
Back on
thing you
Titan.
scroll through Netflix, Attack on Titan, and you're like, okay, that looks interesting. I watch, and the first two episodes catch you and you're hooked. You watch it. It's not too much, so you can finish it. And then when someone says, "Yo, have you seen anime?" No, but I've seen One Punch Man, Attack on Titan,
Mhm.
Naruto, Cowboy Bebop,
Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer, Solo Leveling. It's almost there, but I feel like the Wit remake is gonna give it a possibility. That's what I was playing my buddy. I was like, it's hard because if you don't watch anime, no way you're watching 1,000 episodes.
It's a tough ask. As good as it is, it's a tough ask.
As good as it
Yeah.
is, it's a tough ask. I'm staying on this subject for a long time because I only got a few things today, by the way.
That's all good.
That's fine.
It's all good. Yeah.
Next we have Aoshi is confirmed for 2026 airing. Let me see
Okay.
something.
That's the soccer one we talked about that was returning last week.
Mhm.
Okay. So returning this year. That's good.
It says being done by Production IG. Is the first season done by Production
Ooh.
IG?
Okay.
Oh, it is. Okay. Because the first season animation is kind of lackluster. That's why it fell behind uh Blue Lock.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But we heard about the leaks of the production starting, and now it's not lackluster. It's just not flashy. It's not very flashy animation. When you first see it, you're like, okay, a soccer anime. Versus when you see Blue Lock, you're like, I'll check it out based on
Right.
the
Yeah.
flash. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like I don't even
Well.
like. I'll check it out.
All the pretty
So
pictures.
yeah, it doesn't really have that. So it was announced that it was leaked that it or announced or whatever that it was being greenlit to be worked on, and now it's being announced for 2026. They have an official date, so
Oh, what?
Okay.
hopefully for fans at the beginning, but I don't know.
Somebody's gotta watch that at some point this year to get ready for season 2. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really
Looking
good.
forward to doing that.
I need to finish reading it for real because the manga's done. Um, we have some soul leveling news again.
Of course. every week they got something
Why?
going
It's
on.
okay.
Because they broke it was the same thing with Demon Slayer when it came out and
That's
broke all
good.
them records. It was like now Demon Slayers got new plushies or got new toys or whatever.
Okay.
But just not something slight, but one of the either the producer or director said that one solo leveling episode takes up to 12 months, 10 to 12 months to animate.
I can
Dang.
believe that.
Yeah.
I can believe that. Yeah.
Because you saw there was very little CG and 3D in
Yeah,
that
yeah,
series.
they
So
just oof. And the detail
yeah.
they put into those action sequences alone have to
Mm-hmm.
take months upon months to get done. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can believe that. I can certainly believe.
Yeah. A whole team of people working on it. And I don't know how quickly A1 Pictures makes anime, but they produce a lot of stuff. So they definitely put a lot of extra effort into this one. Um Next we have my girl Takashi Rie. Her vocal surgery is successful and she resumed her work.
Okay, it's good to hear. Successful
Yay.
surgery.
Yep.
That's
So
good news.
good. I mean, congratulations. Glad everything worked out. And she
Yes.
made a statement. I guess her talent agency made a statement. The agency again apologized to her fans and everyone involved, causing concern and inconvenience. Takshi herself thanked those who sent her social media messages and letters, everyone at the studios who accommodated her hiatus, everyone in the industry, particularly her colleagues who gave advice, and everyone at her agency who stood by. She added that she feels like another new step and vowed to work in renewed spirits while asking her fans for support.
Aw.
She has it. She has the support. Yes.
So she's
Yeah.
doing a character in Witch Watch, and I don't know if she's jumping right back in this month, but it says
Hmm.
she resumed work, so who
Okay.
knows?
Hopefully she doesn't overdo it. Take time. Make sure you're at 100%. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm
As
guessing it's probably a main character, something she's doing, and I think I know which one it might be because she hasn't been introduced yet to my knowledge. So,
okay. Um, yeah, she's a singer too, so that's a as a singer myself, that would be scary to get some
Yeah.
surgery
of
on your vocal
course,
cords.
Yeah.
You never know.
I'm glad everything went well.
Yes.
Yep.
Agreed.
Um, Next, 6 months until One Punch Man airs, and we
All right.
have
The month countdown has begun.
Which means I got 6 months to watch season one again and watch season two for the first time.
and One Punch Man is serious business,
Yeah.
Gabby. You'll find out when
I
you watch it.
know.
I know.
Um, he's not as hot as Sung Jin Woo, but he's as cool,
Not many people can be as hot as Sun Jin Woo.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
But the reason we say 6 months until it comes out is because we still have no staff, no trailer, no information, no actual footage,
Then how can we
and
guarantee it's gonna come out?
we've been waiting 5 years for this series, and it was delayed, and we didn't hear anything for 4 years, and now we still have no information. Usually by now, especially on a series as popular, we get something like maybe a
Who
mini trailer, anything.
who gave us this countdown?
That's just
Question.
it's not that it's a countdown, it's just that this 6 months is when it's going to release. It has a release date for the
Oh,
fall.
okay. It has an actual release. I just thought someone was like, "It's coming in 6 months." I'm like,
I'm like, it's
you
coming in
know,
6 months.
inside scoop.
That's what I'm saying. It's coming in 6 months, and so that's unfortunate. But hopefully it doesn't get delayed, and hopefully it comes back swinging because I don't know. I still don't have much faith that JC staff is going to pull off what's required
Hmm.
to animate the fights that are coming up because there's some just crazy level animation they're going to need like Attack on Titan final episode level fights, like explosions, worlds, all types of stuff. So I don't know how they're going to animate. I haven't seen JC staff do something like that, or I'd have to look at their roster. Maybe they have, but we'll see.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll see. Next, we have information from our president, Donald Trump.
No.
I know. Donald Trump has
Why is
announced
he
that.
on here?
Why is he on what?
Why is he in this chat? What is going on? What are you about to tell us?
Well, you're going to find out.
I don't want to.
Donald Trump has announced that he may put 100% tariffs on movies created outside the country. So, how does this affect us? immediately it
Every
would
single
impact.
thing is not going to come to the States then.
Well, there's a lot of I mean, a lot of our movies are made here, but for us anime fans, it affects us by um immediately the impact. It could possibly be affecting the Reese movie and the Infinity Castle movie because both of those are made outside this country.
Yeah.
Well,
So for anime fans, we don't know what's going to happen.
We might be screwed.
Might have to watch it. We're not going to be screwed, but we might have to watch it at home or pay $40 for a ticket.
Right.
well, maybe this is what will get anime creators to stop making movies and start making episodes again.
That
Hey,
would be awesome.
This might be the
fingers
only
crossed
thing
that we're not too
that
badly
Cheeto was
affected.
useful for.
But yeah, Donald Rump strikes again. And
Cheeto.
we don't know what that means, but who knows? Maybe he'll retract it like all the other terrorists. So we'll see.
Fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm.
I need my Reese movie.
Yeah.
Say what?
Which I am actually very much enjoying.
Oh, the beginning after the end?
Yeah, because the story's good. From what I
Yeah.
heard, the story is amazing. So
Oh,
you
yeah,
can
it's
still
fantastic.
it's the same like the Kingdom anime. My friends put me onto the Kingdom manga through the anime, and the anime's poop. But the story is good.
Yeah.
So I still want to keep watching it too. I'm only on like episode 2, but I like
think I'm
the beginning of
on
the story. So
I'm on 3 or 4. I think I'm rounding the end of 4, but I never finished the episode.
I'm caught up
Okay.
and it's great. I love
Okay.
it.
All right. Next up on the docket, Gabby, what's the topic this week?
Oh, yes, let me get ready.
Oh, she has to get ready.
oh.
Huh.
That's what we're talking about.
This better not be no ship.
No, it's not about ships, but I mean,
Okay.
it's not
Well,
directly
thank
about
you.
ships. No,
Yeah, not directly there, but
not directly about ships, but it's that will come one day. The question one day is just gonna be me rattling off my ships. It's just not gonna be a question. It's
rate
just gonna
Gabby
be
ships. That's when we're going to rate Gabby
No,
ships.
no, you're not allowed to rate my ships because they're all A tier.
Okay, you say so.
No.
We're doing that for sure.
No, we're not rating my ship.
I'm writing that one down for
Oh
future.
my god, I regret speaking today. But we're going to talk about My Hero. They're part of the topic today. And basically, I'm obviously the My Hero fandom. There's a lot of things going on with the My Hero fandom. But is it really that bad? Or is it just cases of extreme topics, things that go along and happen in any fandom, just being hyped up? Don't stop. Noah, I can see you starting. Let me give some
We
examples.
were just talking about this in my Twitter group chat.
Let me give some examples. Hold on, I have a list.
I got a list too.
I know you got a list. I know that. Things, just common ones. Shipping, yes. Shipping happens a lot in MHA. Happens a lot in a lot of other ones too. There's a lot of Demon Slayer ships. I would say that's just as bad as MHA, if you're going to call it that. People think it's a counterculture movement. It rose up to be vastly worse. People don't like straight ships, which isn't true. Death threats to the author. That's been a big one that people have gone on about. But all of the incidents with that happened around a range of 5 tweets made by a 17-year-old girl who was mad. For some reason, not the author. And then YouTubers, specifically Hero He is one that apparently just keeps bringing it up and up for clout a lot of the time. So like that, people use that as a common argument. They always do death threats. That's not true. Yeah. Some examples. Is it really that bad? But on a serious note, is it really different from any other fandom?
Yes.
How? How?
Because I can't agree that Demon Slayer is just as bad.
Oh, you haven't explored deep enough then.
As someone who be on the most toxic uh 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 spaces for anime, there it's not that they're bad as in like they're in like I personally think One Piece is worse. They're not bad as in like One Piece people like are like they're super racist, they attack people verbally, they do all types of weird stuff. I think they're worse, but probably because there's more of them. But they're also super like the My Hero fandom is also super possessive over there. Not as much anymore because the series is over, but during
Mm.
its peaks
Mhm.
over their series, it was similar to the Jujutsu Kaisen manga fans for a while. And a lot of that stems those talks a lot stem from like Reddit and Twitter because those are the discussion threads where they get the worst.
Hmm.
And I can confirm that they are still just as bad on Twitter. Like you can still find them, but you got to weed them out. It's just like I was just telling my friend the other day. Um, I was explaining how everybody's cool generally in every fandom except for One Piece and My Hero, and then I was explaining like every 10th One Piece fan is like a chill person that's not like toxic. And you know what I mean? Usually, and I think it's more so on My Hero side, it's like the cringe side as to where like anime is already, I guess, typically cringe, but
Right.
Yeah.
like I feel like My Hero just takes it to the next level with like the, you know what I mean? Also, they have a lot of male fans. So when they do a lot of the non-straight ships, then that turns off a lot of the obviously super macho heterosexual male fans and stuff like that. So it's just I feel like it's a lot of stuff that compiles them into a big old cornball. But
Yeah, when y'all start wanting to do stuff with Ari, like, come on now, this is
that's also
yeah, like
weird.
way
Like
out.
the
What?
Yeah,
fans IRL have
yes,
done. There was a big thing going on
yes,
where like they were like making like fan arts and stuff of Ari, and that still goes on. Like the dojins are made
yeah.
of her character and stuff like
I've
that.
unfortunately like have seen that type of stuff. Like this is a child. Like, come on now, y'all.
You
Yeah,
mean Airy?
Yes.
You guys are
yeah,
saying
Ari.
Oh,
Ari.
my apologies.
I was
He
like,
said
who
it
is
first and messed me
Ari?
up.
Yeah,
It's
my
London's
apologies.
fault.
I was
I'll
like,
take it.
who
I'll
are
take it.
they talking
I'm
about?
just joking. Yeah, there's that, and then there was the in we didn't really care over here, but in Asia they had a big problem with the create girl having like super open chest, and
Oh
then
yeah,
the
Momo's
writer
thing.
had to come
Mhm.
out personally because he got so much backlash and make a statement that that's part of her power is that the stuff comes out of her chest when
Mhm.
it's like we as men all know it's like, bro, you just wanted to make a big boob character and show her boobs. Like, you know what I'm saying? And people are upset about it. You
It could
got to
have
take
came
an
out of
L
her
on that
back,
one.
like reaching or something like that. But no, you want to put it right there.
Yeah, the
Like,
problem is when you do shonen, they're high school kids. So it's like all your
yes,
fantasies are thrown on high school kids. If it's a
yes,
seinen, they're adults. You know what I mean?
yes.
That's the thing. So it's like that's why it's like they've just had a lot of weird connotations. They haven't had a lot of good connotations behind them. So is it bad? In my opinion, One Piece and DBZ, they're worse because they like verbally attack people and all types of extra stuff.
Hmm.
But as far as one from the outside looking in, usually it's like, especially on Twitter and like Reddit, usually it's like, eh.
But by that fact, they're just bad in different ways. So it's not that bad.
Well, it depends on who you're asking. As a
Okay.
fan and a shipper, of course you don't think it's that bad.
Oh no, I still
If
think
you
it's
part
pretty
of the
bad.
problem. No, I'm just joking.
I am the better part of the community, sir. I don't flaunt
I have,
my
and I
fandoms in different
agree.
places.
You have a healthy relationship with the series,
I
but
do.
you have admitted also that a lot of their fans don't, and it's like notorious with this series for whatever reason.
Yeah.
That's why I feel
Even
like
though
they
I
get
don't hang
so
out in
much
these
hate.
spaces, I do
What
know
about you,
that
though?
well, see, I don't hang out in these spaces. I know you all do because you're on X, Twitter, whatever. You're in the Reddits. I'm not in that stuff, so I'm not in these rooms. I just on the outside looking in, I hear which are the top super toxic ones. I know My Hero seems to be at the top of the list as far as the most toxic fan base, just from what I hear. Like hearing you say DBZ, but the way you explain that one, like people just
Before it was DBZ, but then One Piece One Piece got really like after COVID, then One Piece took over as like the biggest fandom on like Twitter and Reddit and stuff. They probably
Um,
were before, but they were just a little more
Peaking
scattered.
yeah,
toxicity
like
kind of happened during COVID.
yeah, but like
Yeah, And like the One Piece, it just carries that elitist factor where it's like
It does.
we're the greatest, we're the best. So then that jumps into like just immediate toxicity versus like where you often have people who are just like the people in my group chats and stuff like that on Twitter, where we're just like, we'll just have fun debates and stuff like that and be like, oh, your MC just chased around his boyfriend for the whole time. And I'll be like, your MC died 8 times. You know what I'm saying? It's just fun back and forth like we
Yeah.
do. So it's like, that's what it's supposed to be. But most of them don't make it that way. And so, yeah,
You know,
One
all the
Piece
toxicity stuff gets
my
highlighted
opinion,
above
has
everything else,
the
Yeah.
which kind of
absolute
sucks.
worst fandom. It's the only fandom where I've had to mute some of the words on Twitter because it made me like it a little bit less because I keep seeing people like be so weird about it. It
Mhm.
made me like it a little bit less. So I was
Okay.
like, I gotta just like stop looking at because I love this series. I gotta stop looking at
Yeah.
weirdos on Twitter.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what a lot of people need to do to help quiet some of that noise.
Oh, I
Mute
got a
some of that
bunch of
stuff.
words muted.
I
I had
believe you.
every word in JJK muted during theirs because they were spoiling everything.
Every
I had
word
the
muted.
whole manga
JJK
muted.
is not going to hold his secrets. The
That's
JJK
hilarious.
fandom is a spoil fandom.
Which fandom do you think is the worst, Gabby?
Like the worst?
Yeah, the most or toxic or whatever. You know what I mean? That you've seen.
Toxic.
In your experience that you
Yeah.
can see.
Hmm. That's a hard question.
Mm.
You know, to be completely honest, it's probably One Piece.
I'm
Okay.
telling you, man, they're the angriest.
Yeah, I've seen some really bad stuff in One Piece forums for discussions. It's like tearing apart people for liking Usopp over Sanji or like just the stupidest things. It's like, and then I'm like, did you just not like one of the main characters that much, but you've watched this
Yeah,
much of the show? Like, what are you doing? Are you hate watching at this point?
yeah.
How
That's
are
the
you hate
thing
watching
about the
One Piece?
series. That's one of the most toxic parts about the series. It's one of the only series that has like a big cast. Like what other series have like a big cast? Naruto,
Right. Bleach.
Kingdom, Bleach, like a main like characters that have a lot of focus.
Yeah.
Um, Hunter,
Attack on
Hunter x
Titan.
shows
Hunter.
like that. Generally, most of the characters that are super cool are loved by everyone. You might have your one or two that's like, I don't rock with him. And it's like,
Yeah.
whoa, hot take, like Rock Lee or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like generally, if you watch Naruto, you like Shikamaru, you like Akashi, you like Rock Lee, you may be indifferent
Sasuke,
about Sakura,
Itachi.
you like,
Right. Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like generally, and I'm not saying you
Neji.
have to, but it's like
Yeah.
in One Piece, it'll be like
Yeah,
characters
but when
who
you
are
hear
like,
somebody says, "I don't like that character," you just, why is that? Like, is there a specific reason? Like, I don't like
yeah.
when he did this and that specific episode. It kind of turned me off. Like, okay, I can get that, but not just
Or you just don't like it for everyone's
yeah,
not gonna like everything.
Yeah.
yeah,
But it's
facts.
just in One Piece, it'll be like somebody is like an admiral fan. So they absolutely just despise the straw hats. And it's like you're just horrible to talk to the series about because the series is focused on these characters.
Yeah,
So everything we're talking about is you hating on the main focus of the series. That's not even what the writer wanted you to focus on. He wanted you to enjoy that part of it,
you're right.
but that's not how he wrote the story
Right.
for you to direct
Mhm.
your attention to only this part.
Their
That's why they're
Jolly Roger
rarely in the
is the
story.
show's logo. Like, it's about
Yeah,
them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
You
And then you
gotta
got
give
people
it
who
that.
are like dragon stands, and it's like Dragon is their favorite character, and they'll die on this hill. And I'm like, bro, he has
Like,
two
bro,
Dragon's not
words in
even
his
in the
name.
I'm about to
show.
say we've seen
There's
him.
a
We about
whole
told him
group
what
of
3
them,
times in
and
the
it's
show.
usually black folks, and they love Dragon because he's the liberator. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I'm like, bro, he has 2 scenes. For you to put him at your top character is just
He
ridiculous.
said 5 lines, maybe.
Right, right. There's
Yeah,
whole backstories that
It'll
are
be cool
20
when we see
episodes.
him. Maybe.
Facts.
If we do.
It even makes me
We might
crazy
not
when
even see
Shanks is
him.
in people's top 5. I'm like, he's done.
yeah.
You have too many characters in. Like, I love Shanks.
Oh
I
Same
yeah.
think
here.
Dragon is
But
dope.
he's barely.
There's
We've barely even seen him in the show after all this
No.
time. He gets a
Whitebeard makes
cameo
sense.
every
Ace
200
wouldn't
episodes.
make sense. Like, sure,
Yeah,
his backstory, but it's still like there's so many characters in One Piece that it's like for
yeah.
you to put a character that doesn't have any lines at the top is just weird to me. I feel like it's just like you're just giving it cool points to give it. But that's how the series is kind of like. That's the only series I know. Or they'll be like a Zoro fan, so they hate Sanji, or a Sanji
Yeah,
fan, so
I
they
don't like
hate
that.
Zoro. And it's like, you know what I'm saying?
You can have an opinion. You don't have to hate them just because the character they have their
Yeah,
brotherly beef. Like you don't have to carry that in real
yeah,
life.
that's it's really weird, bro. And there'll be fans of particular Straw Hats, and it's like it's the only like Kingdom fans. They're the whole High Shin unit. We all that's our
Gang.
squad.
Yeah.
That's our we lock. That's the
Gang.
squad. Everyone is part of the squad.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm like, how do you not like main character? Anyways,
No. Thank you for that,
that's a good
Gabby.
topic.
Noah was able to get some stuff off his chest and had
Well,
to just fight for it. A
well,
final
since
time.
you asked me my fandom, I
Mhm.
want to know what y'all's do you think is the most toxic. Is it MHA or is there another fandom that you think is
See,
the
with
most
me, I
I
don't
don't
live
think
in those.
that's what I'm saying. I don't think my hero's that toxic. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Lo.
You know, see, I don't live in those worlds, so I don't. I'm not. I don't hang out in those spaces, talking to people about that type of stuff. So
And what about from cons? What about experiencing the fans from
Yeah.
cons? Because you
my
experience
hero.
a lot of, but usually in general, real life fans are a lot more chill than they are
They are.
on social media.
If I had to put it to any fandom as far as like convention stuff, it would be my hero.
Okay.
It's not the One Piece ones. I haven't
Because
had
in
any
real
trouble.
life, they definitely are the weirdest. Dude.
I've heard and seen weird things when it comes to them. So yeah, I'll stick with the my hero. Yeah, fandom.
There's a giant storm going on in the background, so if you occasionally hear whooshing and thunder,
Okay,
that's
that's what I
me.
was wondering because it got darker around here. So
It
I'm
was
like,
storming so bad earlier.
Oh yeah,
okay,
the rain is probably going sideways right now. I think here.
okay. Oh
Um,
crap! Thank you for telling me that.
I say,
In case he gets freaked out.
Oh baby.
I say One Piece online, but in person, One Piece fans are some of the chillest people ever.
Yeah.
But online, they're definitely the worst fans of any medium I've ever experienced. Dragon Ball Z fans at first were bad, but One Piece since COVID, like I said, it's the only series to where following the different groups and forums and stuff like that online made me
Mhm.
like it less. So it's like even some of my Twitter followers have asked, "You won't be talking about One Piece as much more." I'm like, bro, I can't engage because every time I do, I end up arguing. But when I post Kingdom, when I post Naruto, when I post Chainsaw Man, when I post
Mhm.
Kaiju, people are
A
just
good
like, "Yo, that's
discussion.
dope, da da da, that's dope." I'll be
Mhm.
like, "Bro, look at Zoro use Conqueror's Hockey's right here. That wasn't Conqueror's Hockey, you fucking idiot. Have you not seen the black lines on the page? That's not fucking." I'm like, bro. I'm like, bro,
Just
fight
Okay.
chill.
with me,
Okay.
Come on.
15-year-old, because I know
Calm
you're 14.
down.
That's how it is. So it's
Yeah.
like online, they definitely are the worst, but in person, One Piece fans are the dopest because it's a big it's like one of the bigger dedications in manga or anime. So if
Mhm.
you've
Mhm.
dedicated time into reading, oh, we've got a lot to talk about. Um, so that's cool. Because usually a lot of other series people have just read or watched, but usually One Piece fans have watched and read. London, cough, cough. Usually they've watched and read.
The fuck was that shot for?
Usually.
Usually they've watched and read. So then when this Lucy fight, we've been waiting for 2 years to come, they can be like, yeah, we know it's coming. What you
I
gonna do? What you gonna do when the One Piece comes out?
What are you gonna do when
I
the
mean, when it
series ends and everyone screams
That's what I'm
online?
saying.
Are you not gonna go online?
I'm having
You
a
gonna have
social
to
media
read.
blackout.
Bro, it's gonna be for
With
like
your
6
job, that's
months.
impossible.
It's got to be longer because, like I said, this Kizaru fight happened in the manga. You realize we're almost to the end of Elbaf, and we're just about halfway through
We
Egghead
haven't
right
started
now,
yet.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Gabby,
we're
I think
halfway.
we're just because I haven't
No, we're
watched,
halfway through Egghead because the second half of it,
but
just came back.
We are barely
but
half.
that doesn't mean that's
Oh,
halfway. That was just a break. Yeah, I was
okay.
gonna
Yeah,
say that's
we are
because
not near
there's a
halfway
lot of
point yet.
fights. The Gorosei just showed up. There was a lot of fights
Yeah.
to happen,
When it comes to the end, I will figure
and
something out,
Kuma's
but I'm not.
backstories. So it's
Mhm.
Kuma's backstory probably gonna be stretched to like 20 episodes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's Kuma and it's a backstory. They love backstories here.
So, but
Regardless, that was a great topic, Gabby. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So let's move on to our top threes.
Next.
Let's figure out what our top threes were for the week. Uh,
Am I the only one that watched anime this week?
I got some. I
got
got a
no
top
top
threes.
threes. I watched nothing.
Okay. Well then, let me do mine. I'll tell you what my top threes are. I can run through some of those real quick. Let's see. Number 3 for me, which I didn't see coming, but it was Guilty Gear's Dual Rulers.
Okay.
That was a fire ass episode this week. It felt like it should have been the season finale, to tell you the truth. It was like on that type of level. It was big. It was epic. It was power ups. It was badass fight. It was the whole nine. Like I actually looked like, is this the fight? This feels like the finale, the way everything's playing out, everything's going. But it was a really, really fire episode this week. Guilty Gear was number 3 for me. Number 2 for me was Fire Force. Such a good episode. My boy, you think the night dude, drawing a blank.
Arthur?
Yes. Another Arthur moment. Yeah, Arthur had to fight a dragon, and him and his night stuff. So
he loved them dragons.
Some guy wanted to come out and say his name was Dragon. I was like, this is not going to go well for you, my guy. Like,
He's
you're
going
right.
God mode.
Pretty much.
You're about to get squashed by King Arthur.
It's dope because he's getting whooped fighting him, but coming to Ace like, nah, he's good. Let him have this one. He's living the life right now, fighting a dragon. Like, don't worry, he's good. So
let my boy cook.
Number 1 for me was Lazarus. I'm loving this show more and more each week. Like, I'm so hooked on when are they going to find him? How they only got like 20 something days left before everybody dies. So how they going to put all this together? And this one was a hacker versus hacker kind of episode, so it was kind of cool. So I'm really, really enjoying this. As far as honorable mentions, G-Quux, that was a good one, Gundam. G-Quux, Kaiba was a little more sillier, funnier kind of episode, but Kaiba usually delivered.
Yaiba?
Yeah, Kaiba.
Yaiba.
Sorry, Yaiba. I was
watching.
watching.
Like from Yu-Gi-Oh?
No, I was going to say.
No, my bad. Yaiba. Yaiba, and I think there's one other one. Oh, Windbreakers. We're still on that whole Sakura kind of finding itself trip, but I like the introduction of the new characters we had in this episode.
Yeah.
I like them coming back and kind of apologizing to the guys, them kind of giving them shit about it. Like, that was pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to getting off of this character growth arc, but I'm hoping more comes from it at the end. Like, they made it a point in this episode to talk about his looks. Like, is that contact lens or whatever? Like, what's going on with the hair or whatever? So I want to know, does that come from his parents or something like that or whatever? Like, it's not dye, it's not a contact lens or nothing like that. That's just how he looks. And I wonder where the look came from. So I'm pretty sure at some point in the show, since they made it a point to mention it here, they will get to that. But I'm looking forward to him now that he's kind of grown, now putting it into action when he's with his
Nat or something.
When he's with the first years out handling business. I want to see him put all that stuff into action. Like, maybe call out to people when he's having a trouble in the fight or whatever, see if they can back him up. So I'm looking forward to seeing him put everything into action. But those are my honorable mentions for the week.
Nice.
So
I love him as an MC.
Yeah.
He's a really good
I
MC.
really like him.
Yeah.
I'm going to go through everything I've watched and then rank because I watched quite a few things.
Okay.
So obviously I'll start off with my Windbreaker watch because I caught up with episode 2. I, again, like you, liked the little wholesomeness. Glad we're getting some more storytelling, but I'm excited for the next fight. I'm excited for these new characters mostly.
I like her a lot. I like her. I like her a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Really cool. I can't wait to hear more about them and see kind of where they're going to bring us next because obviously since they're new, they're going to have an impact on the next storyline. So.
Is Windbreaker?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm excited to see more of them. Let's see. The Unaware Altier Meister. Or Miser, I can never pronounce that word.
That whole series name be fucking Gabby.
I knew every single one. I'm like, yes.
The Unaware Altier Miser.
Is that how it's said?
Altier. Yes. Read it.
Sound it out.
No. Guess what? I'm gonna forget next week too.
Every week she's like the unwant my Altier.
amount of times that I'm saying this show wrong and put it together and see how long it is.
Be 10 minutes.
Oh my god. I liked it. It's cute. We've kind of got more and more people learning how this kid is literally strong in everything else except for combat. But now there's a big misunderstanding where he thinks he knows what's going on, but he doesn't know that they're trying to protect this one girl that's a princess. But he thinks there's something about a scribble monster or something, because that's what one girl made up. So he's like, I gotta protect against the scribble monster, or like a squalor or something. And they're just like, uh-huh. And I think he's about to step his butt into danger in the next episode, so that's going to be interesting. It's cute and just hilarious. Witch Watch continues to have my heart. I will never skip that opening ever. It's so good. We got to see some more communications between our new Tengu guy and the ogre. So their dynamic is going to be a big thing. And like you mentioned earlier, Noah, our favorite voice actor, is going to be in that series, and I have a feeling she's going to be the long-haired, like bow character. Because she's one of the
plays
only.
Kara Minami.
Okay, I don't recognize that.
Kara Minami, brown girl, school uniform, supporting actress, supporting. character.
Okay.
Still
maybe
semi
she's not-
main.
Yeah, then maybe if she's already been introduced, then she's not the one I'm thinking of.
I don't know if she has or not.
Yeah. Either way, well, because the school characters have already been introduced, but she might be a new one. But either way, excited to have her in the series if she is one of the newer characters out there. But Witch Watch has my heart, and I'm can't wait to learn more about the witches. Beginning after the end, I'm in love with the story. It's fantastic. It honestly has me excited to see the episodes every week. And I think definitely after the anime finishes, I'm going to go through and read it. That's for sure.
Okay.
But I think it's because it's brand new to me with the storyline. I don't really care about the animation that much. So I'm just having a ball watching it, to be honest. I love this character. I think he's fantastic. That's Fate Zero. We just watched that one. Brilliant Healers, New Life in the Shadows. Also really good. Still not a harem, so I am very confident that this show will just be a good fantasy show with a lot of female characters and not a harem at any point. And if it proves me wrong, I will cry. Because it's really cute. And I really like the main MC. I think he's funny. He's the perfect amount of oblivious. So that's really nice. And I just like the whole concept of it being around healing magic. I've always liked healing magic. Whenever I play games, I like to play like healing support characters. So that's always gotten to me. And then what else did I watch? Oh, I watched I didn't get to episode 4, but I watched the first episode of Becoming Hero X.
Yeah.
To be Hero X.
To be Hero X, that's what I do. And I like it.
Isn't it so cool?
I like it a lot.
It might be my favorite, like, non like huge title that was like anticipated, like Fire Force anime that came out this season.
Yeah, the animation was still throwing me off on episode 2, but then episode 3, and I just got really into the storyline and the characters.
But you didn't like when the beam of laser switched him from 2D to 3D? I almost jumped out my seat.
No, I liked it.
So
I thought
cool.
it was cool, but I was still uneasy and uneven about the switching between it.
Okay.
But then the stories finally kind of clicked for me, along with the animation in episode 3. So then I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. So I'm gonna go watch episode 4.
You're caught up, right, Lo?
I have to rewatch the last episode. I was trying to watch it at work today, but got a phone call from the boss and like wasn't able to focus and lock in on it, so I got to rewatch it.
And then I think the last thing that I watched, Can a Boy Girl Friendship Survive? It's okay. It's just a cute little school slice of life one. I'm keeping it up because I like the break between some of the more actiony things that are happening.
Okay.
But I finally watched. I'm not done with it, caught up yet, but I watched the first 3 episodes of My Hero Vigilantes, and
Still gotta start that.
oh my god, it's wonderful.
Okay. Okay. That's two of y'all now.
Absolutely
Okay.
wonderful.
Okay.
And I have not read it. I have not seen anything about it just because I saw a series, but I never got interested in actually reading it.
Mhm.
And Brad has read it, so we were watching it together, and he's like, "Oh, this." He's like, he likes it a lot.
Okay.
The opening is cool. The ending is cool. I fell in love with these trio of characters in episode 1. I love the
Yeah, they're
callbacks
cool.
to all of our heroes. Aizawa is there day 1, and I am so happy for that. I love Dad Zawa so much.
Yeah.
But that's all I watched. But rankings this week, probably. See, it's hard because there's so many good ones. Witch Watch is gonna be number 3 for me.
Okay.
To Be Hero X is number 2, and
Okay.
then My Hero
Yeah.
Vigilantes is number 1. With I would say, probably, Shadow Healer, Mr. Shadow Healer Man, as the honorable mention for number 4. This week.
Brilliant healer, John.
Yes, Brilliant Healer in the Shadows.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Number 4. So my list
Wait, what was number 1?
was revamped this week.
What was number 1?
Oh, number 1 was Vigilantes.
Oh, okay.
All right. There's some new stuff added to the list this week. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And Vigilantes in there this week. Threw some Guilty Gear in there too. That's cool. I know we'll catch up on a lot of other stuff this week, Noah. So let's get to the portion where we open things up.
Mine is To Be Hero X. That's my number 1 because that's all I watched.
Okay.
Dang, such a hard sell.
Right.
My
To
number
Be
1.
Hero
That's
X.
the one I just couldn't wait for, so I had to watch.
I get that,
Mhm.
especially after last week's episode. Yeah,
The story feels like it, like even the directing and like the plot progression feels like a Spider-Man series,
It
like a
kind of
Spider-Man
does,
movie.
yeah.
Like the way they're in this like hero type facility and stuff like that, and the animation looks like Spider-Verse. It actually feels like a superhero type story. You know what I mean? Kind of like a
Mhm.
Invincible Spider-Man type deal. So I really like it.
Okay.
That's good.
They just dropped another Donghua is what they're called, Chinese anime. So next week I'll let y'all know.
Okay.
Okay.
Or we can take a look at it. You said it just dropped.
Yeah, episode 1.
When so maybe, or we can watch them together with our weeklies this weekend. But who knows?
We could do that.
Yeah. All right. Let's open up the floor to discuss whatever. There is no Chainsaw Man update. I'm putting it out there right now. I have not touched it or read it since.
You didn't even finish those 2 chapters,
Here's
bro.
the thing. We got to talk about Evangelion, and I went and watched the entire anime and the movie over the weekend. Like, I had to go back and revisit.
2 chapters, bro.
Hey, look, I didn't watch no wrestling this weekend. None. I haven't watched wrestling since last Monday. I skipped everything this weekend. I was catching up on animes I could catch up on, and I was watching Evangelion all weekend long.
Word.
I didn't play no games and nothing. That's all I was watching Evangelion all weekend long, and the end of Evangelion movie, which I finished last night at midnight.
I need
we got to come back.
No gaming to just watch anime all weekend. I did read a lot though. Sakamoto Days, I'm absolutely in love with.
Yeah.
After this season, after this next arc that's coming out is really cool, but the
Mhm.
story shifts really strongly from haha Sakamoto's strong and does it in a funny way to like serious stuff going on.
Okay.
People close to him may be traitors, like his family may be in danger, all types of stuff. Shin's got to level up. They introduce new characters. It's really good. I've been addicted. I think I read like 30 chapters yesterday because this one arc is just
Wow.
this one arc is so good, and the art is so good. I really can't wait. I hope at this next season, this next core does really well. It's a
Mhm.
little bit more action, so hopefully it does really well, so we can get a season two quick. Because once the season two comes, that's where it really turns up. But
Okay.
besides that, I didn't read I read something that's not a manga, but I've been reading The Rise of Kyoshi from the Avatar: The Last Airbender series,
Okay. Okay.
Oh yeah,
and
I heard about that.
everyone knows about Kyoshi when they would show like the line of
Yeah.
famous avatars. Particularly, a few of them were more famous than others for certain things, and Kyoshi
Hmm.
was
Like
kind of like the
Yoshi. Yeah.
liberator
Yeah.
because she was like, I think they talked about her a little bit in ATLA, and she's like super tall. I think she was the oldest human. She lived to be like 230 years old.
Jeez, you go,
She
girl.
she was
She
like
was old.
6'3" at like 12 years old. She was like, but the thing was about her story. So, bro, when I tell you I might like Kyoshi's story better than Korra and better than Aang's story too.
Hmm.
Kyoshi might be my favorite
Wow.
avatar. And I feel like a lot of people are going to feel this way when they finally, and I looked it up. Apparently, they've shown interest in animating her story, and they've already shown that we've got a new Aang movie coming out and series.
Hmm.
So hopefully it'll do well, and then we'll get more because they've got books written about a
Yeah.
couple other things. I think they
Content
have
is
some
already out
Goku
there.
books
Yeah.
too.
That you
Yeah,
can pull from. And I think she's one that a lot of people would like to see animated about Kyoshi's story.
I'm telling you, her story is so cool. So basically, you know how like the Avatar babies are raised from like as like they have a method to find them kind of near
Yeah.
infantry and then or infancy, and then they'll have them pick the toy, and if they pick the right toy, they're the Avatar. And usually it's like when the four nations work together, which is during Kyoshi's era, which is so much better world building than the rest because
Hmm.
you've got all these different like you had a pirate that was a waterbender and she just ruled the northern sea and she was whooping the Avatar's ass, Avatar state and everything. It's just like the world building was just so
Hmm.
crazy. They have so many strong benders. But normally they're brought up from a child and they're brought up in like riches and in a noble area. They're educated and taught real well, taught how to be peaceful, and they're supposed to basically be a monk. Well, she was raised in the slums, and they had an era where they couldn't find the Avatar, and then they found someone who was an incredible earthbender, just like world level earthbender.
Hmm.
So they thought he has to be it. And they kind of just like gave up searching and just settled on him, but they kind of knew deep down that it
That it
wasn't him.
wasn't technically him.
Yeah,
Wasn't
Yeah.
but
him.
nobody really wanted to admit it. For years, he basically was the Avatar. So then one of the nobles from one of the teachers of the Avatar, Airbender, finds Kyoshi in the slums, brings her in, and then she becomes a servant of the Avatar. So time
Oh,
passes
fuck.
on. Yeah, time passes on. The Avatar and her are best friends as servant and master. Like they
Hmm.
really have a close relationship. There's a firebender girl who's like the protector of the Avatar, Rangi. She's close friends. I can't wait to see her animated.
Hmm.
And then basically for her to become for when they find out that she's the Avatar, the other Avatar, they somebody in the temple ends up betraying them and doing some heinous stuff. I won't spoil. Super dark, darker than anything in all the other avatars. And
Okay.
I was
What?
like, whoa. And then he does that, and not like berserk dark, but dark enough to where like people die and
Gotcha.
betrayal and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Gotcha.
And he does it, but it's kind of like a Donzo from Naruto way. It's all for the sake of creating the new avatar. And
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
it's so cool. And the way she finds out because she's really bad at bending because she grew up in the slums. So then when she gets really angry, she almost levels a mountain. And it's
Hmm.
just like back then, it's like, man, I think earthbenders might be the strongest. I think them in like the prime of all of the cities having good teachers and
Hmm.
hundreds of benders. I think the earthbenders might be the strongest. But I think when they animate that,
Yeah.
man, there's a lot of stuff to go through. I think that Kyoshi might be on everyone's radar because uh, I've been really enjoying this book.
I hope they do one day because she's one of the backgrounds I would like to see about Kyosho. They talk
She's
about her
known as
so
the
much.
Liberator.
Yes, they talk about
And
her
then
so
you
much
saw,
with
go
everything.
ahead,
Yeah.
my bad.
No, so they talk about her so much in like the last Airbender. You know what I'm saying? How big she was and how popular she was. So I've always wanted to see like watch it come to life. So I'm looking forward to hopefully one day they do, bring it to life in the animation. So fingers crossed.
They completely like transform, like the vibe of Gabby just playing with slime.
I know.
The vibe, the
I'm paying
vibe of
attention.
no, you're good. The vibe of the Fire Nation is that they're evil because of Avatar: The Last Airbender. They were the last like functioning nation, which makes
Yeah,
sense
exactly.
because previously in Kyoshi's era, when they all worked together, which is only like what it was like 200 years before, or like 100 years before Aang. I can't remember how long he was in that. I think he was in the rock for 100 years
For
or
like,
in the ice.
yeah, he was in there for 100 years, so I'm not
So it
sure
was
how
like
long
200 years before
before.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And basically they're like China now. So like everyone's super strict, everything's on time. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like once they were the fire attendant who becomes her best friend, who's Rangi, was talking to her, and she's like, I can't believe you didn't tell me, because she knew she was the Avatar, but she didn't tell anyone for a long time because it like he's the biggest political figure of the
Mm-hmm.
world.
Yeah.
So it changes a lot of stuff. So she's like, I can't believe you didn't tell me. She's like, she was like, well, I didn't know for a long time. She's like, that's ridiculous. In the Fire Kingdom, we find out right away. And then she rolls her eyes. She's like, of course, in the Fire Kingdom, you find out who the Avatar is at like 3 years old. It's the Fire King.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And everywhere else is kind of normal. You know what I mean? So that's how
Yeah.
the Fire Kingdom is. And so their vibe is changed from like evil to just like strict and effective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's such a cool vibe shift. And the story is just between all the different nations working. There's so much more world building than, not to say that Avatar: The Last Airbender was bad, but all they can deal with is like broken down water tribe. Ba Sing Se was like the last village
Like the last big city or something like that. Yeah.
of the earth,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
the Fire Nation was functioning, but they're evil, waiting for the comet. And then the air nomads were gone because he's the last airbender.
Right.
So
So it's
like there
like
was
you
nothing
had
to
air,
build upon.
yeah, not much.
Yeah.
You had the airbender, you had the airbenders, you had all the earthbenders, you had and like earthbenders were crazy. Like their assassins would kill you by like making little flint needles and sneaking them in your neck before you could even notice. And I'm like,
Ooh.
they're just crazy. Like, how do you beat that? How do you beat? You couldn't even notice. He would just flick his
How
finger.
did y'all die out if
You know
you're
what I mean?
doing that?
That's
So I
dope.
mean, they didn't. They were still around, the earthbenders, but
Well, yeah.
at least they were more functioning than anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, that's why I think they're the strongest, because they were more peaceful, and then the firebenders they had a bad king. But that's my spiel about Rise of Kyoshi. I've been really loving. I'm about halfway through.
Okay,
And
that's
I've
what's
been
up.
racing through, so I'm gonna finish it, and
You'll be
I'll let
finished with
y'all
that
know
by
more.
next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, not next week, because I'm reading it between reading other things.
Okay.
So I'm reading it slowly. But when I do read it, I'll read a lot because it's really good.
Gotcha.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. That's the one thing I forgot. Kyoshi was known as like the liberator. They talked about a bunch of avatars through history.
Mm-hmm.
Roku was known as like the wisdom. He was known as like the wisest avatar.
Yeah.
And like he was a fire one. But each avatar is supposed to be indifferent towards all different things, no matter what. You know what I mean?
Right.
Nobody's too far gone to seek redemption, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
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 So I got a couple things. One, shout out to Frosty. Ran into Mario while at Free Comic Book Day this weekend with Gabby. She just got back from Japan. She went to the Star Wars Day thing, and all that kind of stuff out there. So she picked up for me, I believe there's a sticker of Robin from a Shonen Jump pop-up shop she ran into while she was out there. So
Nice.
thank you for that, Mari.
Yay.
Yes, one of my absolute favorite straw hats, and
The
from
best girl in One Piece.
oh yeah, 100%, yeah, and from one of the greatest scenes in One Piece. So got that, and also a few episodes back, I mentioned that we are doing our own anime of the year conversation at the end of the year. So I want to go through exactly what that
Oh,
entails.
you don't
so
want to do each
people-
season?
Hmm?
You don't want to do each season?
Yeah, then I'm about to explain to them how it's going to work, so they know, so they can
Oh,
follow
okay.
us.
My
Yeah,
bad. My bad.
and
my
I'll
bad.
go through the categories of what we're looking for. We can, if we all agree on them, or something we need to change out, or something like that. But the way this is going to work, each season we're going to come up with the best of these categories. You know, best action, best fantasy, yada yada yada, for like this spring that we're in, for just spring. Once spring is over, we will put up on the socials which we thought won all those categories. That's it. There's no explanation to it whatsoever. We're just going to post that we thought this was the best action one, or at least I thought this was the best action one. No one might have a different one than me. Gabby and so forth might have a different one.
Debate.
Yes, and then what we're going to do after that is go to Patreon, and just for Patreon members, we're going to explain why we chose those specific animes for those categories. So we'll put out the list to everybody, but you got to be a Patreon member in order to get our actual like video answer response to why we chose ones we chose for each category. So I'm gonna run through the categories. I got movie of the year. Are we good with that?
Of the year?
Yes. Well,
Because you were doing season.
Yeah, how's that gonna work?
Then that season, or by the end of the year, we'll do a year one. So we'll put the season for that one. That's fine.
Okay. I was gonna say it's not a movie every season.
Yeah. All right. So
Yeah.
movie of the season, anime of the season, best action, best romance, best slice of life, best isekai, best fantasy, best boy, best girl, best comedy, best action sequence, best score, best opening, best ending,
Yes.
and best waifu. Those are all the categories. That is there anything we need
Is
to?
best. We have a best girl, right?
I was
You
gonna
said?
say
Yeah, we have best girl
Is
and best
best
boy.
girl and best
Same thing.
waifu are kind of repetitive.
they are kind of the same thing.
Then we can drop
Yeah.
waifu and just keep best boy, best girl. Okay.
But you could replace it with must protect at all cost character.
It's true.
Because
Yeah,
that could
you
be like
could.
a
We could
child
do a
character, or like a kid character, or like a pet, or like a animal character, or something like that.
Yeah. I
I'll
think
put
that's
that
a
on
good
there.
idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Must protect at all costs. That's another one.
And fantasy. We need to describe fantasy because I was just arguing this on Instagram.
I got fantasy on here.
No, I know,
Okay.
but what fantasy is? Because somebody put up a post and they were like, greatest fantasy of the last 5 years. And they were like Freera. And I was like, okay, cool. They were like Danmachi. I was like, okay, cool. Then they were like JJK. I was like, hold on.
No, I don't got that as
Then they
That's
fantasy.
not a
said,
fantasy.
No.
then they said, there was an stop it.
I'm about to say, what is your chat doing with that? You was going to town on something. Apparently, that was you.
No, it's the chair, man. This chair is expensive. Stop scratching it, man.
That's exactly
Then he
why
said
she
another one.
scratches it.
And I commented and I was like, oh, he said ReZero. And then I was like, we just call an isekai and shonen fantasy now? And he replied, he's like, there are subgenres of fantasy. And I
Things
was
can
like,
be things can be multiple. I can consider ReZero as a fantasy.
it is, but it's an isekai. The reason is because these tropes in anime specifically are so like specifically defined that it's easy to separate them. And we have enough of each one that we don't have to overlap them. Like that's the thing. Like if we didn't have a lot of fantasy, then we could throw isekai in there too, or vice versa. But we
Yeah.
have so
I mean, that
much
makes sense.
isekai and fantasy, they can have their own category. And
Yeah.
it's like
Well,
fantasy is. Go ahead.
No. Continue. My thought is not
Fantasy is
processed.
generally Dungeons and Dragons scenario type
Right.
deal, RPG type setting.
Yeah.
So you have
Agreed.
your Danmachi, your Free Rin, your Maiden Abyss, your stuff like that. And then your modern day ones would be like Solo Leveling, Fate,
Right.
Irregular Magic High, stuff like that. Fantasy. Okay. So that's just what I want to say because
No,
we're having
I'm
some
with you.
different opinions online, but most people
And
were
I can see people
like,
putting the sci-fi stuff under fantasy too. I can see that. I would hold that as sci-fi though.
but I feel like that then degrades the genre because almost anything, like I said,
Anything can be a
thriller-
fantasy. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
anything could be fantasy.
That's what I'm saying. Like if
thriller
somebody wanted to throw
is
that in there,
espionage. One Piece
I would
is a
call that
thriller.
sci-fi. Yeah. I would
Yeah.
Yeah.
All a genre is checking off enough boxes in one category to equal
Yeah.
that thing.
We're on the same
So
page
it's
as
like-
fantasy. Yeah. Medieval
Yeah, yeah.
style. Yeah. All that kind of stuff. Magic,
I was more
swordsmanship,
so
knights.
venting for my comment too.
It's okay.
but
But are we
yeah,
good with?
fantasy is
But are we
definitely
good with those categories?
I feel like there was one I thought about. You got most.
I run it back.
Protected at all
Movie of the season, anime of the season, best action, best romance, best slice of life, best isekai, best fantasy, best boy, best girl, best comedy, best action sequence, best score, best opening, best ending, and must protect at all costs.
Best animation.
Okay, that's enough. Yeah, yeah.
Um, best art slash background art could be one too.
Could be, but can we just put that under animation? That way we don't need to add.
I mean, those are two different things, but we don't have to add if you don't want. That's a but that's honestly a popular one. But I don't know. I don't feel like y'all be paying attention to that, so we can skip that one.
Anything we need to add,
Like,
Gabby?
I
Or
can't
take
think of
away?
anything.
Okay.
hold on one sec. Let me.
Best ship.
I'm looking up songs.
Best
Best ship is
Honey, you're
funny.
gonna
That'll
get
be
a
Gabby's
bunch of
favorite.
mates. You put that in there, and it's literally just gonna be me making up the ships for y'all to choose from. And you don't get to agree or disagree on what should be in there. Actually, put that in there. I'm gonna make up the ships, and y'all have to vote for one. Put that in
best-
We
there.
could do best supporting character.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I always feel like main characters get everything. It's nice to have with nice
I can
to
agree
hear
with
some
that.
supporting opinions.
Yeah, because I always have a side character that I love. Like in the one you still need to watch, Gabby. Oh, best voice actor, Japanese for sure.
Oh yeah.
Because we hardly, even you as a dub watcher, we hardly watch any dub on weeklies. So we definitely we'll all be hearing the same Japanese voice actors for the most part.
Best voice
Yeah.
actor. Okay.
Um, what's it called? The one that you still need to watch, Gabby. Aaliyah sometimes
Which
hides her
one?
feelings in Russian.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
that's two films. Yeah, yeah.
Oh
You
yeah.
watch it? Yeah.
Yeah, I
The
watched all of that.
sister,
Yeah.
the sister is one of my favorite side characters of the year. My brother. She's so funny. So she would definitely win my supporting character. Yeah, I think that's we could do best comedy too.
Best comedy's on there.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's all the Crunchyroll ones. So what I kind of wanted to do was what I think I might do is there's a tier list website where you can just
What?
what is going on over there?
She's
I
just
like to play with my slimes. I've got like 7 of them over here.
she's just playing with slime.
But
Bless her heart.
there's a tier list website where you can like
Terry Maker.
clip the pictures and put them all in there. It would take some work, but I could do it at the end of each season. Just have to
We're
go
time
through
here.
all the ones that we've seen, have y'all make a list of each one that you've seen, and then I'll go through and put it in there and then name each tier after each category, and then y'all can put it in there so we can just post our picks like that.
Mhm. And for the people listening or watching, know that at the end of the year, once we're done with all 4 seasons, we can pile the winners of them to come together, and we'll sit down and discuss and see which ones come out on top at the end for like the of the year discussion. But this will help us get there a lot easier and cleaner. And as always, if we're talking about our top threes and stuff like that every week, and you think there's something we're missing, please feel free in the comments to put it down there because it's just 3 of us. We're not gonna be able to watch every anime that comes out. We're all doing other stuff at the same time. So
Oh yeah, I'm trying to watch less anime. Not like a bad way, but like
I
I
I'm
was
get
trying
gonna
to
it,
say
watch
this is not
less.
the podcast to do that with them.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
watch less poopy anime so I can have more
So
time.
if
for the
you
good stuff.
haven't heard us say I tried to watch this and it wasn't for me, yada yada, if we just haven't mentioned it, please put it in the comment. Who knows? It could have started off slow or got like, yeah, the next 12 episodes was amazing, but it's not on our radar because we dropped it forever ago. Just let us know, especially with doing something like this. That way we can try to keep an eye on what's supposedly like the best stuff out there. That would be a great help to us. We would appreciate that. Is there anything else that we have to cover before we get out of here?
That's it.
Marmar got me stuff from Japan, but I'll show it next week because it's downstairs.
Oh,
Fair enough.
I was thinking of something that would be cool to maybe do in this future, and I saved this video, which I can show y'all. That won't be TOS.
And I will have my Evangelion movies finished this week/weekend, so we can continue with the conversation whenever you are ready, Gabby.
Okay.
Yes. Because it was one hell of a weekend, let's just say. Going through that
Drama.
so much.
Mhm.
So much trauma.
Yeah, that's what happens when you watch all of Evangelion.
I was thinking of doing something cool like anime social media spotlight of the week, where it'd be like a funny meme, a cool anime song cover, a cool skit, maybe it's RDC World skit, something like that. And
Okay.
you know, maybe it fall in the topic session or something like that.
Okay.
And something short, but just maybe because I've been scrolling through so much anime content, it'll be cool
Yeah.
to
I'm
get
about
y'all's
to
live
start.
reaction because y'all don't be
Yeah.
talking back in the chat for nothing. So I can show y'all in person and get y'all's live reaction.
Mhm.
So look at check this one out though. This is just like 18 seconds. This
Okay.
girl did a super dope cover. Let's wait till it restarts. It'll restart in a second. Yeah, perfect. You can hear it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, I love this song.
I just need to watch these. Beautiful. That's beautiful.
So
Yeah.
pretty.
That was a crazy cover.
Yeah, that was dope.
Right?
Yeah,
really
so I had to
good.
give her props. She said she appreciated it. Shout out to I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce her PFP, but
Mhm.
Lorraine, I'm pretty sure she is French and she does some
No, that was
cool
spectacular.
covers of anime songs. Let's see what we got.
Oh, I love this one.
So yeah. That's why I figured I thought, you know what I mean, stuff like that is cool. In
Yeah.
the topic session, we could, you know what I mean, throw in like a anime social media spotlight of the week.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I'm down with that. Cool with that. Yeah.
I have some favorite people.
There you
Gabby's
go.
ready.
Yep. Somebody else can
I'm
show
pretty
a
sure we
different.
all
We can
do.
do a
Yeah.
different submission each week. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So.
All right. Let's go get out of here. Noah, go ahead and take us out.
All right, we out. See y'all later. Catch us on Patreon. We got some stuff coming, and we'll be back next week. Talk about more anime. I'm gonna watch some anime this week. Actually, we'll be
Then
back
we
with
all are.
things for next week.
Yep.
Peace.
Bye.
Loading.
Loading snacks.